Hello viewers, this channel has been made in view to explain the history topics relevant for the history optional in particular and for general studies in general. You may also contact the number given in description for seeking one-to-one history optional consultation as well as mentoring. I'll be starting with world history and our today's topic is Enlightenment and its origin. It's a big topic and will be covered in like 3 or 4 different videos. So let's begin. What was Enlightenment? It was an all encompassing movement of 17th and 18th century Europe that brought revolutionary changes in the overall intellectual, philosophical, cultural, and social spheres. We will discuss the features of Enlightenment in a while. First, let's see its origin, the whole process that brought it. So, this process starts with the Holy Crusades, which was a series of wars, I'll explain, and then the Renaissance. So, we have to understand the Europe of up to 13th century, right from the fall of the ancient Roman Empire in the 5th century. From 5th century up to 13th century, Europe was considered to be living in the Dark Ages. They were called the Dark Ages because there was, sorry, because of the irrationality and a stagnant society, lack of new ideas, new philosophies. So it was called Dark Ages. Thereafter, what happened during 11th to 13th century? A number of religiously motivated Christian campaigns to recapture the holy Christian lands in the Middle East, such as Jerusalem or other Christian sites near to the Mediterranean, the Levant regions. So, Christians conducted many such campaigns to win back such lands from the Muslims, basically. In the process, they came into contact with the Arab people. And interestingly, at that point of time, Arab people considered themselves much more sophisticated and superior than the Europeans, and they considered Europeans as barbaric. It's quite opposite today, but at that time it was the position. Even Pandit Nehru, in his Discovery of India, has mentioned this phenomena that Arab was an enlightened peninsula up to 12th or 13th century. So, in this process, the Europe came in contact with the Arabic world and they learned a lot of things from them, number one. And these holy crusades have been described so well in one of the story of J.K. Chesterton, G.K. Chesterton. So, you might want to read that story. You could ask me in comments, I'll tell the name of the story. Khair. So, what happened? The Christians won some of the holy lands in the Middle East, but after a while, the Turks did hit back, and then there was this landmark event, the fall of Constantinople in 1453, wherein the Muslims won Constantinople. Today it's called Istanbul. So, what happened? Due to this process, Islam gained strength, and many of the intellectuals and religious people, sages, etc., Christians, moved from Middle East to Europe so as to avoid prosecution in the hands of Muslims. So when these people came back to Europe, they came with a lot of ideas that they had gathered over centuries in the Middle East. They also brought new technologies with them, such as paper, printing press, etc., which helped the germination of an intellectual atmosphere in Europe. So this process basically started Renaissance. Renaissance was a process between 14th and 16th century wherein a great social, intellectual, and scientific advancement took place in Eastern Europe in general and Italy in particular. There are a few reasons that why Italy became the hotbed of Renaissance. We'll discuss that some other day. But that's how Renaissance came into being. Renaissance brought a spirit of scientific and independent thought as well as inquiry in the Europe, and this led to some things like, for example, many state funded as well as private campaigns to explore new continents were commissioned by the European rulers, such as Henry the Navigator. From Portugal, he commissioned many sailors to discover new continents. This spirit of discovery was due to the new spirit of inquiry in Europe. Similarly, many new scientists such as Galileo, Kepler, Copernicus, etc., sought to investigate further into astronomy and challenged the views held by the church. Like, for example, church considered that it's sun that basically revolves around the earth, not the other way around. But they tried to prove this religious view wrong, and they were persecuted by the church. And similarly, many new inventions such as printing press, the compass, gunpowder, etc., were invented during this time. So this was basically the Renaissance. Then what happened basically? This Renaissance slowly snowballed and it converted into a full-fledged enlightenment. The main focal center of enlightenment was the Western Europe, and countries like United Kingdom, Scotland, France became the new seats of enlightened thought. This enlightenment was majorly caused by two factors. One of the factors was this scientific revolution, when everything was sought to be put to a scientific test. Even a religion, even the common life, every dogma, every tradition, the monarchy, the institutions, everything was questioned. So, this scientific spirit basically caused philosophers and thinkers to explore not only the pure sciences such as physics, mathematics, etc., but also the other branches of knowledge such as philosophy, political science, administration, governance, and so on. Similarly, this also caused the drastic updation of many branches of knowledge, such as music. Many new great composers came into music during this early phase of enlightenment, such as Bach, Handel, Mozart, etc. Similarly, the legal jurisprudence was expanded by many people such as Jeremy Bentham. The economy was further expanded by the likes of Adam Smith, and then many philosophers such as John Locke, Montesquieu, Voltaire, Rousseau, etc., also came into being. One of the other pillars of the Enlightenment, apart from the scientific revolution, was a new religious thought wherein the views of church were put more and more in question. This was particularly in the backdrop of the Protestant movement that started during the 15th and 16th century, and then slowly in many countries such as United Kingdom, Protestant became the major religious vehicle. So they put more and more religious dogmas into test. So overall, this resulted in many new ideas of enlightenment. Some of the major features of enlightenment: one is rationalism, reason. Emphasis was placed on reason. Everything was placed to test of the reason. And it was very amusing to see those days. Even the common people used to carry the little instruments like a little lens, map, compass in their pockets, so as to show that they are taking every single step in a view of scientific inquiry. They would see maps everywhere. They would try to see everything with the lens, so as with a spirit of investigation. Then naturalism. There was more and more emphasis on naturalism and natural laws. This was basically because of Newton. Newton had discovered natural laws of gravity, and similarly, Darwin had discovered the natural laws of evolution. So it was thought that the world is a gigantic machine and its every component can be explained with the help of the natural laws. So the natural laws were also sought to be applied in the fields like philosophy, administration, politics, etc. Then there was more emphasis on individualism. First is rationalism, second naturalism, third is individualism. Before Enlightenment, the society used to see every single person as a unit of society. Now, every individual was sought to be understood separately. Their rights, dignity, their property. So, individual became the unit of the society. Thereafter, humanism. Before Enlightenment, more focus was on the divine or the great God, but Enlightenment put more focus on a human's wants, their origination, their aspirations, etc. Apart from these four major features, there were a few minor features also: egalitarianism, relativism, etc. So basically, that's all for today. Tomorrow or in the next video, we'll discuss about the major thinkers of Enlightenment. Two thinkers have been mentioned in the UPSC mains or optional syllabus, the Kant and Rousseau. But we will discuss a few others also, and Kant and Rousseau in the major detail. Thank you.